Imagine rummaging through an old jar of coins on your kitchen counter, the same jar that's been collecting dust for decades, discovering a single penny that could change your life forever. A penny so rare that in today's market, it has been valued at over $907,000. Yes, that's right. A coin you could hold between your thumb and forefinger might be worth more than most people's homes. And here's the twist. If you've got one, it could be the key to living the kind of wealthy, worry-free life most people only dream about. But before we talk about how to recognize it, let's clear one thing up. Not all 1968 Lincoln cents are created equal. There's a version without a mint mark, a tiny missing detail that most people overlook that collectors are scrambling to own. And right now, the demand is intense. So if you've ever emptied your pockets at the end of the day without looking closely at those pennies, you might have been casually tossing away a fortune. Painful thought, right? Now you might be thinking, come on, how can a penny be worth that much? Well, here's where history, rarity, and collector obsession collide. In 1968, the United States Mint produced Lincoln cents at multiple locations. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint traditionally carried no mint mark, but for that year, certain batches were struck in a way under conditions, and with a preservation quality so pristine, they've become the crown jewels of the coin world. And when one shows up at auction in top condition, wealthy collectors don't just bid, they battle. It's not about the face value anymore. It's about owning a piece of numismatic history. Picture it to bidders in a crowded auction. Room, hearts pounding, prices climbing into the hundreds of thousands, until finally the gavel falls and someone walks away, having just paid nearly $1 million for a penny. And here's the part that should make your pulse quicken. Some of these rare coins are still out there, tucked away in desk drawers, hidden in coin rolls from the bank, or mixed in with loose change from an estate sale. That means the next life-changing discovery could belong to you, of course. There's a reason so few of these coins exist in high grade. Time is a ruthless enemy. Most pennies from 1968 have lived hard lives, scraped, dinged, and worn down by decades of circulation, but the ones that escaped into protective hands, kept untouched and pristine, are now commanding staggering prices. And here's where the fear creeps in, every day. More of these coins are lost to damage, mishandling, or simply being spent without a second thought. If you've got one and you don't know it, each day that passes could cost you hundreds of thousands. So how do you know if you have the right one? It starts with that missing mint mark. No S, no D, just the date. 1968. Then comes the condition. Even the smallest blemish can drop the value dramatically. Coins graded MS67 or higher, essentially flawless, are the ones that hit the top end of the market. And when you see the difference between a $5 coin and a $900,000 coin, you realize how razor-thin the line can be. Now, here's a quick mental jolt to keep you awake. Somewhere in someone's old coffee can, there's a 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln cent worth a mansion in cash, sitting next to a gum wrapper and a rusty paperclip. Funny? Maybe tragic? Definitely, if they don't check. But don't think you can just glance at a penny and instantly know its value. Serious collectors and dealers use magnification, precise grading standards, and years of expertise to identify the elite specimens. That's why if you suspect you might have one, you need to get it evaluated by a reputable grading service before the market shifts or another. Record-breaking sale drives demand even higher. And speaking of sales, here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. The last major auction of this coin didn't just break records, it shattered them. The winning bid, $907,000. The whispers among collectors that the next perfect example could break the $1 million barrier. Imagine watching those digits appear in your bank account, knowing it all started with a penny most people wouldn't bother to pick up off the sidewalk. So the question is, will you take the time to look? Will you sift through that change jar? Check those coin rolls. Dig through those old boxes in the attic. Because while most people keep dreaming about living a wealthy, debt-free life, someone out there, maybe you, is just one discovery away from making it real. And when that day comes, remember this moment. Because the sound of a penny dropping might just be the sound of your entire life changing. Dusty penny sitting in a jar on your dresser could pay off your mortgage, fund your dream vacation, and still leave you with enough for a comfortable retirement. Now, what if I told you that a 1970 Lincoln cent, the one with a tiny D, mint mark under the date, has already sold in today's market for as much as $901,000? Sounds impossible, right? That's exactly what most people thought, till it happened. The truth is, rare coins don't just belong to collectors with magnifying glasses and white gloves. They're hiding in plain sight, in your change, your desk drawers, even in your grandparents' forgotten coin jars. And the 1970 Lincoln cent is one of the most remarkable stories in modern coin history. Why? Because one small detail invisible to most people can turn a humble 1-cent coin into a life-changing fortune. But before we talk about what to look for, there's something you need to understand. Time is not on your side. Every day. More of these rare coins disappear into private collections, never to hit the open market again. That means every moment you delay checking your own coins is another moment someone else cashes in on what could have been yours. And let's be honest, when was the last time you actually looked closely at your pennies? Probably never. You just spend them without a second thought. That's exactly what the original owners of these million-dollar coins did, till someone else spotted the difference. Now the 1970 penny's secret lies in a rare misprint known as the double die, a verse. It's not just any minor error, it's a bold, unmistakable doubling on the date and lettering that transforms the coin from spare change into a collector's dream. And here's the thing. Not all 1970 pennies are created equal. Yours might look ordinary to the naked eye, but under closer inspection could reveal a minting error so valuable it'll make your bank account do a BACK. FLIP. Picture this. A man in Colorado finds one in his late father's toolbox, sends it off for grading, and within months, he's holding a check for nearly $1 million. He wasn't a collector. He wasn't even looking. Simply recognized the opportunity and took it. How many of us pass up those same opportunities every single day because we assume it's just a penny? But here's where it gets interesting. Not only are these coins worth hundreds of thousands in top condition, but the market for them is hotter than ever. With each high-profile sale, collectors become more competitive, driving prices higher. Just last year, one of these coins sold for $901,000 at auction. And the buzz it created hasn't slowed down. That's why experts are urging people to check their change now while demand is at its peak. Imagine discovering yours after prices. Cool, you'd still have a rare coin. But you'd also have the regret of what it could have been worth today. Let's pause for a moment. Do you know where your old coins even are? If your answer is somewhere in a box, you're sitting on a potential lottery ticket and don't even know it. And no, I'm not exaggerating. $1 million penny is not a fairy tale. A documented reality with verifiable sales and buyers ready to pay top dollar. The only question is whether you'll be the one to cash in. Here's what to do. First, locate every 1970 penny you can find, especially those with the D mint mark. Then, under good lighting, examine the date for clear doubling. If you see it, don't spend it, don't clean it, and for the love of your financial future, don't toss it back into circulation. Get it authenticated by a reputable grading service immediately. Coins condition and certification can be the difference between a few $100s and a life-changing windfall. And just when you think you've heard the whole story, there's one more twist, a small number of 1970D. Pennies were struck on 1941 Canadian cent planchettes. That means they have an entirely different metal composition and weight. These ultra-rare variants have fetched jaw-dropping sums in auctions, and almost no one knows they exist. So yes, you might find $1 million penny. It might not even look exactly like the ones we've been talking about now. Here's the uncomfortable part. Every time you let this video end without checking your coins, someone else's odds go up and yours go down. That's the reality of rare collectibles. Scarcity increases value, but only for the people who act. You can be one of them, or you can watch from the sidelines while others live the lifestyle you've been dreaming about. So ask yourself, is there a chance that right now, without realizing it, You already own one of the rarest, most valuable pennies in America. If there's even a 1% possibility, isn't that worth 10 minutes of your time tonight? You don't need luck. You don't need insider knowledge. You just need to start looking, and the next headline-breaking sale could be yours. Because one thing's certain, someone will find the next $1 million 1970 VDB Lincoln cent, and the only question left is, will it be you? Right now. Somewhere in America, in a forgotten jar on a shelf, or at the bottom of a desk drawer. A 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is quietly waiting for someone to recognize its true value. And here's the part that makes your heart race. One of these. It's just sold for $894,000, a penny. The kind you used to find and change and toss into a coffee can? You might be thinking, how is that even possible? After all, it's just copper, right? Wrong? This coin isn't just copper, it's a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. A production error. From the Philadelphia Mint, struck with incredible precision but missing its mint mark, combined with exceptional condition and scarcity. Imagine if you'd spent one of these at the gas station years ago for gum. That sound you're hearing? In your head right now. That's the sound of $894,000 slipping through your fingers. But here's the catch. Not every 1971 no-mint mark penny is worth a fortune. Most are worth exactly what you think. 1 cent. The difference between an ordinary penny and a life-changing. One comes down to condition, grading, and tiny details you could miss in a heartbeat. And that's what makes this such a dangerous game for the untrained eye. Sell it too soon, misidentify it, or worse, spend it, and you've walked away from a wealth you'll never see again. You wouldn't throw away a winning lottery ticket. So why would you toss this into your coin jar without knowing? Now let's pause for a second. You might be glancing at the nearest drawer, wondering if you've ever even seen a 1971 penny. That's exactly the point most people never notice. That's why these treasures keep hiding in plain sight. But here's the exciting part. Anyone watching this right now could be holding one and not even know it yet. And if you think it's too late, it's not. These coins are still out there. Just last year, another near-perfect example surfaced in a private collection, shocking even seasoned experts. So how do you know if you have the real thing? The first clue is the absence of a mint mark just below the date. Simple enough, but here's where it gets tricky. Millions of pennies from Philadelphia have no mint mark, and only a fraction carry the rarity that pushes their value into the stratosphere. You need crisp, sharp detail. You need flawless surfaces, untouched by circulation. And most importantly, you need official grading from a trusted third party like PCGS or NGC. That's the gatekeeper to the big numbers. Without that, you're just guessing. Let's picture this for a moment. You find one. You get it graded, and the results come back at the highest level, MS 6-7 or above. Suddenly, you're not just someone who collects coins. You're someone who owns a 6-figure piece of American history. Think about what that means for your life. No debt, no financial worry. The power to walk away from a job you hate. Freedom to invest, travel, or simply breathe easier. All from a coin that most people ignore. But don't get too comfortable, because every day you wait to check your collection, the chances shrink. Not because the coins vanish, but because others are hunting too. The market is competitive, and when coins like this hit auction, the bidding war is fierce. Miss your opportunity, and you might spend the rest of your life watching someone else live the dream you could have had.
Oh.
That's not fear-mongering. That's reality. And here's something that will keep you up tonight, some experts believe. There are still uncirculated 1971 no-mint mark cents sitting in old bankrolls, unsearched for decades. Can you imagine the thrill of opening a roll and pulling out a coin worth more than most people make in a year? The adrenaline alone might be worth it. But the money, well, that's life-changing. If you're feeling that itch right now, good. That's your instinct telling you not to let this moment pass. Go to your collection. Check every penny. Look for that date, that missing mint mark, that pristine shine. If you find something promising, don't post it on social media for strangers to weigh in. Protect it, document it, and then send it straight to a professional grader. The world of rare coins rewards those who act decisively. The The people who hesitate end up with stories that start with, "I almost had one." While the people who move fast end up with checks, auctions, and headlines. This could be your headline, your story, your turning point. And here's the cliffhanger you didn't see coming. The 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln cent isn't the only penny out there worth a fortune. In fact, there's another even rarer coin that's been quietly breaking records at auction. Is a story for another day. Let me take you on a journey. Picture this. You're rummaging through an old jar of coins in the back of your kitchen drawer. You think it's just pocket change, maybe $1's worth if you're lucky. But in that moment, you have no idea you could be holding something that, in the right hands, might change your life forever. And not by a few $100s, not even a few thousand. I'm talking about a single penny, 1 cent, that could be worth nearly $900,000 today. Now, here's the thing that's both exciting and terrifying. Most people throw these coins away, spend them, or let them sit forgotten in a dusty jar for decades, never realizing they've let a small fortune slip through their fingers. If that thought doesn't make you want to go digging through your change right now, it should, because the 1973 mint mark Lincoln cent is more than just a piece of copper. It's a golden ticket hiding in plain sight. Before you roll your eyes and think, "Oh, come on, a penny worth millions," the current verified market value of one of these rare variants has reached $890,000. And here's the part that will make your heart race. Not all of them have been found. That means somewhere, in some dusty drawer, a bankroll, a forgotten coin album, there are still undiscovered treasures waiting. It's maybe in your home. It's maybe in your pocket right now. Let's back up a moment. Because understanding why this coin is so valuable is the key to recognizing one when you see it. In 1973, the Denver Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents. But a tiny handful had an extraordinary error, a flaw so rare, collectors will pay almost anything to own it. We're talking mistrikes, double dies, off-metal strikes, the kind of minting mistake that transforms an everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. And yes, the people who discovered them didn't just stumble into luck, they knew exactly what to look for. Do you? Imagine you're holding a penny and looking at the date, 1973. Just below it, a small D for Denver. Seems ordinary. But under magnification, the truth reveals itself, a doubling on the lettering. An odd weight, a color just a shade different from the rest. These are the kinds of details that could mean the difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million. Think about that. The right penny could be worth more than most people's homes. Suddenly, those little copper discs in your change jar aren't so boring anymore, are they? And here's where the urgency kicks in. Every year, more and more of these rare coins are being found, graded, and locked away in private collections. Once they're gone from circulation, they're gone. That means the pool of possibilities is shrinking, and so are your chances. So the longer you wait to check, the more likely your penny will remain just a penny by now. You might be wondering, all right, but how exactly do I spot one without spending my life hunched over a magnifying glass? Let's make it simple. Start with the basics. Date, mint mark, condition. If your 1973 Lincoln cent is uncirculated, brilliant red, and has even the faintest sign of an error, it's worth investigating. When I say investigating, I mean having it professionally graded, because that's where the magic happens. A coin graded at the highest level can jump from a few $100s in value to hundreds of thousands. In an instant, I know what you're thinking, but what if I don't have one? Am I just out of luck? Not at all. The coin market is alive, thriving, and full of opportunities. Even if you don't find the 1973 D of your dreams, there are dozens of other rare Lincoln cents, from the famous 1909's VDB to the elusive 1943 copper cent, that are worth anywhere from thousands to millions. The real question is whether you're going to take action, or keep letting the opportunity pass by while someone else cashes in. Now, I could tell you the story of a man who once paid for a soda with what turned out to be a six-figure penny, but that's a tale for another moment. The point is, these treasures don't announce themselves. They don't glow, they don't hum, they don't scream, "I'm worth $890,000. They blend in, quietly waiting for someone with the right knowledge to recognize them. And today, that person could be you. The clock is ticking, somewhere in America right now. A 1973 D Lincoln cent is sitting in a drawer, or a coffee can, or maybe even rolling around under someone's car seat. It will either be thrown back into circulation, or it will be claimed by someone who understands its value. So, when this video ends, you have two choices. You can go back to life as usual, or you can start really looking at every penny you touch from this day forward. Because if you find it, let's just say that coffee can full of change could turn into the key to your dream home, your early retirement, or the life you've always imagined. The only question is, will you be the one to find it before someone else does? What if I told you that a single penny hiding in plain sight could be worth more than your house, or than your retirement account, even more than the dream vacation you've been postponing for decades? Not a rare diamond, not a stock market gamble. A single, ordinary-looking coin, the 1988 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, with a value that in the right condition has reached $883,000 in today's market.
And in some cases it's believed to have sold for even more.
And here's the real kicker. You might already own one. Picture this. You're cleaning out an old desk drawer, a jar of pennies rattling in the background. You almost toss them into a Coinstar machine, but something makes you pause. One of those copper-colored coins, dull and unassuming, could be the key to a life of absolute financial freedom. The kind of wealth that turns maybe someday into, right now, sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not, but the window to act is closing fast. You see, the 1988 no-mint mark penny isn't just rare. It's a numismatic anomaly, a coin born out of a mistake so small most people never notice it. And that's exactly why most of them get overlooked. Sitting in change jars and old coffee tins, their owners completely unaware they're holding a fortune. Collectors, the serious ones with deep pockets, know the truth. They know these coins are disappearing into private collections, never to return to the open market, and every year the price climbs higher. This is not a maybe it'll go up someday situation. It's happening now. Now, before you run to your change jar, let's break down why this coin commands such an astronomical price. In 1988, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies. Most bore small mint marks indicating where they were struck. But a tiny number due to a die mix-up came out without any mint mark at all. This was not intentional. It was an error, a flaw in the system. And in the coin collecting world, the right kind of flaw can turn scrap metal into gold. Imagine an everyday sedan accidentally leaving the factory with a Ferrari engine inside. The outside looks normal, but under the hood it's a game changer. Here's where it gets even more interesting. The difference is microscopic, so subtle that many people spend years handling these coins without realizing they've touched something that could change their lives. You could be staring at one, right? Now, and not even know it. That's where fear creeps in. How many of these treasures have already slipped through your fingers, given away for a pack of gum, or lost in the bottom of a vending machine? The market right now is white hot. It's just a few months ago, one of these coins in pristine, uncirculated condition hit that jaw-dropping $883,000 mark. That's not internet rumor, that's cold, hard fact backed by auction results. And while not every 1988 no-mint mark penny will fetch that much, even circulated ones can command staggering amounts, depending on their condition. Every day, you wait. Another collector snatches one up, another coin disappears from public hands. The opportunity shrinks. Now, let me interrupt this flood of information with a quick reality check. Yes, I can hear you thinking, all right, so what's the catch? Is this another one of those too good to be true stories? No, but there is a twist. The twist is that most people will miss their shot simply because they never bother to check. They assume they couldn't possibly have one, so they never look. And in doing so, they hand their fortune over to someone else. Maybe someone who took just 5 minutes to learn what to look for. And that's where the urgency hits home, because knowing how to spot a genuine 1988 no mint mark penny is not rocket science. But it does require you to act now. Every week, more are being graded, locked away in protective cases, and taken off the market forever. That scarcity is the fuel driving the price upward. And once they're gone, they're gone. In a few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for, the tiny details that separate a life-changing coin from pocket change. But before I do, think about this. How many times in your life have you had the chance to turn something you already own into a 6- or 7-figure payday without lifting more than a finger?
Ow.
This isn't a stock tip. This isn't crypto. It's history you can hold in your hand. It's sitting quietly in the loose change you've been ignoring for years. All right, here comes the part you've been waiting for. When you pick up a 1988 penny, the first thing to check is the space under the date. Most will have a tiny letter, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. If there's no letter at all, your heart should already be racing. But here's the kicker. You'll need to examine it closely, preferably with a magnifying glass, because worn coins can make the mint mark nearly invisible. This is where many give up, tossing away a small fortune because they didn't want to spend 2 minutes double-dash checking, and here's the cliffhanger you didn't see coming. Not all no mint mark pennies are valuable. Some are simply worn-down coins where the mark has faded. That's why in the final moments of this video, I'm going to share the unmistakable markers that prove you've got the real deal, and if you find one, how to get it authenticated and sold for maximum value. Because let's be honest, finding one of these coins isn't just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt. The rush of knowing you spotted something the rest of the world missed. And when that rush turns into a life-changing payday, you'll remember this exact moment, the moment you realized your next step could turn a forgotten penny into an $883,000 miracle. The only question is, will you take that step before someone else does? They say opportunity knocks once in a lifetime. But what if it's been sitting quietly in your kitchen drawer for decades? Imagine this. You're holding a penny. Yes, a simple, copper-colored penny. And it's worth enough to pay off your house, your kids' college tuition, and still have enough left over to buy that dream vacation home by the ocean. Sounds impossible? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the incredible story of the 1989 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of metal that, in the right condition, could be worth up to $879,000 in today's market, and in rare cases, even millions. And the best part? One of these might already be in your possession. Now, before you rush to that jar of coins in your closet, let's take a breath, because this isn't just about luck. It's about understanding what makes these rare pennies so valuable and, more importantly, how to recognize one before you accidentally spend it on a pack of gum. Yes, that's happened. More than once. Where out there, someone bought a cup of coffee with what could have been their retirement fund. Let's make sure that's not you. Back in 1989, The U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. Most were perfectly ordinary, marked with a tiny letter P, D, or S to indicate where they were minted. But a tiny, almost mythical number left the presses without that mint mark. These weren't meant to be special. In fact, they slipped through quietly, unnoticed, into everyday circulation. And for years, no one thought twice about them. Think about that for a moment. Billions of coins, and just a handful are the golden ticket. That's like hiding a diamond in a sandbox and telling no one it's there. The magic lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and a little-known collector frenzy. Without that tiny mint mark, these coins are anomalies, mistakes. And in the coin-collecting world, mistakes often mean money. Big money. The cleaner the coin, the higher the grade. A pristine 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln cent graded at the top. Levels can fetch $879,000 in the current market. That's not a fantasy number. It's a verified sale figure. But here's where things get wild. In certain rare bidding wars, collectors with deep pockets have been willing to pay even more. It's pushing these small copper discs into the multi-million-dollar territory. Now, before you say there's no way I have one, let me tell you a quick story. A man in Ohio found his in a forgotten jar in the basement. He'd walked past that jar hundreds of times. When he finally decided to check, his heart nearly stopped. After a professional grading, he walked away with a life-changing check. Here's the kicker. He'd been planning to use those coins to pay for a vending machine snack. Talk about a plot twist. So how do you know if you've got the real deal? First, look closely at the date -1989. Then, check just under the date for a mint mark. If there's nothing there, you may have just hit the jackpot. But, and this is important, not every no-mint mark penny from 1989 is valuable. Many are worn down from circulation. The real fortune lies in uncirculated, high-grade examples. That's where a professional appraisal and grading service comes in. Skipping this step is like finding a gold nugget and tossing it in your garden. Because you thought it was a rock, and here's where urgency comes in. The market for rare coins is hot right now. Prices are climbing, but like any market, they can cool. Collectors are actively hunting for these coins today, right now, which means every day you delay could be a missed opportunity. If you think your coin might be the one, the clock is ticking. And let's face it, you'd rather be the person telling the "I found a $879,000 penny" story than the one saying, "I think I spent mine years ago." Now, you might be wondering, if these coins are so rare, why would anyone sell them? The answer is simple, because a single coin can change everything. Debt-free living, early retirement, the freedom to travel without checking your bank. Account first. These aren't just coins, they're keys. Keys to a life most people only dream about, but we're not done yet. Because there's one detail, one final clue that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. And without it, you could walk right past your fortune without realizing it. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, but first, I want you to picture something.
You.
Standing at an auction, the air thick with anticipation, knowing that the tiny coin in your hand is about to change your life forever. That's not fantasy, it's the exact moment. Several lucky owners of the 1989 no-mint mark penny have experienced. So, what's that last piece of the puzzle? It's all about the coin's strike and luster. The best example's the image of Lincoln is sharp, the lettering crisp, and the surface gleams like it was minted yesterday. Under magnification, the details pop, every line in Lincoln's hair, every contour of his profile perfectly preserved. If you see that, and your coin matches the date with no mint mark, you might just be holding your ticket to a completely different life. Now I'll leave you with this. Every fortune starts with a decision. You can toss those old pennies back into circulation, or you can take a closer look. The difference between pocket change and a life-changing windfall is just a few minutes of your attention. Somewhere out there, maybe in your home right now, is a coin that could make you wealthy. The question is, will you find it before someone else does? Not just a few extra bucks in your wallet, but enough to pay off your home, retire early, and live the kind of lifestyle most people only dream about. I'm talking about a coin so rare, so valuable, that one recently sold for over $800. $71,000? And yes, it's a penny. A 1992 D Mint Mark Lincoln cent. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, yeah, right. A penny's worth a penny. Remember this. There are only a handful of these coins known to exist. And if you own one, you're sitting on a fortune that could rival the lottery. And the crazy part? It could be hiding in an old jar of change, in your kitchen, tucked in a drawer, or resting in a forgotten box in your garage. People throw them away every day without even knowing. Imagine that, tossing away a house, a car, a college fund, in the form of a penny. The story of this? Coin starts in 1992 in Denver. The U.S. Mint was making your everyday Lincoln cents, except in an incredibly rare mistake. A small number of coins were struck using a design meant for the next year, the close AM reverse. Most coins that year have a visible gap between the letters A and M in America. But in this variety, the A and M are almost touching. It's that tiny design difference, almost invisible to the naked eye. It's the difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million. Here's where it gets thrilling. Imagine being the person who finds one. You're flipping through some old coins, maybe half paying attention, and suddenly, there it is. At first you think, nah, this can't be real. But then you notice that telltale detail. Heart. Pounding palms, sweating, you realize you've just turned a 1-cent coin into a life-changing payday. And here's the scary part. Most people never even check. They spend it without a second thought, letting fortunes slip right through their fingers. And speaking of slipping, here's a little jolt for you. How many coins have you already spent without looking? Go ahead, think about it. That coffee this morning could have been an $800,000 coffee. Ouch. But don't panic yet, because if you still have old change lying around, there's a chance you're not too late. The current record price for a 1992 close AM Lincoln cent is a jaw-dropping $871,000, set in a private sale. And with the market for rare coins hotter than ever, collectors are paying more than they ever have before. Demand is climbing, supply is microscopic, and that means one thing: the clock is ticking. Every day more coins are found, and once they're in collectors' hands, they're gone for good. You might be thinking, sure, how do I even check for this without feeling like I'm looking for a needle in a haystack? Here's the good news. You don't have to be an expert. Grab a magnifying glass. Look at the word America on the back. Focus on the letters A and M. If they're nearly touching with almost no gap, you could be holding the holy grail of modern pennies. But here's where you need to be careful, and I mean really careful. There are fakes out there. Some people alter coins to make them look like the close AM variety, but serious collectors and grading services can spot them instantly. If you think you've found one, don't clean it, don't scratch it, and for heaven's sake, don't spend it. Get it authenticated by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. Picture this: you send in your coin, the days drag by, your nerves are on edge. And then the email arrives, certified, genuine, rare. In that moment, your life changes. That little disc of copper-plated zinc becomes a key to financial freedom, to paying off debts, to traveling where you want, when you want, without ever checking your bank account first. Now, you might be tempted to wait, thinking the price could go higher. But here's the danger. Markets shift. Values rise and fall. Waiting too long could mean watching the value slip, and the regret of what if can haunt you far longer than the thrill of finding it. And let's not forget, time is against us. Every day, coins disappear into private collections. Every day, another chance is gone. Which brings me to the question you have to ask yourself right now. Will you take action, or will you let it slip away? Because the next $1 million penny is out there. It's not sitting in some museum under glass. It's in someone's kitchen drawer, in a jar of pennies by the washing machine. It's in the glove box of a car that hasn't been cleaned in years. Maybe it's in your house, so go. Check your change, your jars, your boxes. Look closely. That little penny could be your ticket to the life you've been dreaming of. And when you find it, remember, you heard it here first. The 1992 D close M Lincoln cent. 1 cent that could be worth a lifetime of freedom. And here's the cliffhanger in my next video. I'll reveal the one other modern penny worth even more than this one, and the shocking reason it was never meant to exist in the first place. Don't miss it. Your future might just depend on it.